How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to be talking about Darwin's Game, which is an 11 episode anime with a rundown time of like 26 minutes each. It's basically another survival battle royale high stakes type of game. It just follows this guy named Kaname who just receives like an invitation to play this game called Darwin's Game. Bro, except sin like a snake just like bits him and just like goes to like a whole other fucking I guess like world or whatever, and it's like pretty amazing in that aspect because with the duality of like the real world and like the fictional world of playing Darwin's Game, like you get a whole different perspective of how it's viewed differently. Like you get these special abilities that he had a hard time trying to understand what the fuck it is, but it's just him with the ability to like copy weapons at some point, and then at the end of like the anime he gets some type of special privilege, which I have forgot to um memorize while going into this because it's been a minute since I talk about any animes. But throughout this 11 episode course, you get, I guess, a mild of the run type of anime of like not really stuck to another world, but stuck into like a survival, kind of like a battle royale game. It reminds me a lot of Juni Tyson. It's the one with like all the zodiac. I think it's like the Zodiac Wars with like 12 contenders of each of zodiac. They try to kill each other for like a prize or granted like one wish. So it's basically like that, but a whole lot different because you can form clans, you can form families, you can form your own base and everything, and recruit people to be your own. But with Kaname, he just lost three of his good buddies. Like you see the first one in the first episode, and then I think the second one in like I guess the first or second episode, I guess, and then his last buddy is like killed like in the last episode or two, and this man becomes like turns into like oh, I'm a softie, I don't think killing is right to the end. He's like, nah, I'm gonna kill everyone who gets in my way, I'm gonna kill the creator who made this game and whatever, and we're gonna form an alliance, the Sunset Ravens, I think that's what they're called, to like destroy anyone that has ties or relationships. But throughout this, you get to experience different types of characters that Kaname has found himself with. One of them being his, I guess, girlfriend that literally tries to murk him on the first encounter that they seen each other and talk about because he had a hard time understanding of how the game works. But nah, bro pulled up a clutch on getting his signal. I think that's how you say his signal, and his copying, his weapon copying ability, which is just like, man, bro literally just clutched up last minute to figure out how to use his ability, and then he just forms up with like people around him to get his whole clan and everything a whole lot bigger. But throughout this, it wasn't really all that exciting because it was only the first 11 episodes, so it really did not drive me more to get more like excited for it because it was only like a short lived for 11 episodes. So the what really happens in the first 11 episodes, he gets introduced into the game. He forms an alliance with a bunch of randos and whatever. Lost three of his buddies, and he has won like the first event of the Darwin's Game, and he grants like a special privilege, and he fights off another clan that's after whatever like their motives. It was the damn, I forgot what they're called. They're like the eight guys or whatever, because the main, not the main antagonist, but one of like the antagonists I got into his way, he killed him at the end, was becoming a big nuisance, but took care of that essentially, and then got a whole 180 on his character of like being like a soft spoken of like no killing to like, nah, I'm gonna murk anybody that gets in my way. And what really pains me to like rank this anime of how I did, because I gave it like a good solid 6, because it's only like short lived with 11 episodes, and this came out in 2020. So I thought, between then and now, since I'm reviewing this in 24, that they would have announced like at least a sequel, because I feel like this anime had so much potential of like just showing off its great story narrative. if it would have just kept going, if it would have been like a longevity, like maybe like a 24 episode or maybe like a little bit longer than that, because like 11 episodes, I felt like the pacing was a little bit rushed, in my opinion. The pacing was just not on point because they're just rushing to this point to meet up this one character, sacrifices himself, dies, and then economy to get his whole character development, and shut in such short notice in that span of like the episode gap. Because of all this pacing, it was just a little bit too much. So I really felt like it should have been slowed down and had more episodes to fully fledge out his character. I mean, they try to like, in my opinion, I feel like they rushed it a little bit too quickly, and I feel like they just missed the potential of how they could drive this home of like, yo, let's get a second season under the belt. But no, being how it is with 11 episodes, I really don't think it has a second season potential. But hey, it could really catch everybody off guard because it's not that bad. The fight scenes could be a little bit better. I could say it could be a little bit better. And animation, it could be just a tad bit a little bit better because it reminds me of like older 2000s animation. In my opinion, it wasn't really all flashy. It wasn't really so captivating to look at. It was just your standard old early 2000s animation, and that's like another thing that kind of turned me off. It's just like not only being fastly paced with barely any time to consume our characters and everything, and with the animation not being like a Google, like I get it, like it's not, it shouldn't be like perfect, but it should be at least up to standard of what's more visually pleasing to viewers like myself. But it just really wasn't it for me. The one factor I could pitch in, it has a fire opening. That I will give her props. It has a fire opening, and that's about it. I just felt like it should have had more extension of the episodes to keep it going. But how it is here, I don't think it has any like good best redeeming qualities. It has okay, it has like the standard, but it's just like how everything else is just paced, developed, and shown. Just really wasn't it for me. But it's still not bad. Like it'll hook you on just like for a little bit. It took me almost 3 to 4 weeks to finish it because I could have binged it all, but it was just like a little bit boring because when there were some moments where the pace was slowed down, it was just more so on dialogue and this and that. And I don't know, and that with like its mediocre action sequence, its fighting sequences, it just wasn't right there for me to captivate. Of like, oh wow, this is pretty nice to see. But that's just how I feel about it. So I'm giving this anime a good solid 6 out of 10. I don't think it's like the best, and I don't think it's like the worst. It's kind of like your middle of the round. It's like it's mid at most. It's not really like anywhere between good or bad. It just sits right there in the mid tier of this show. But for this being, I'd rather watch the Junie Tyson than this because it does have a similar concept of like survival battle royale, but at least it had more entertaining like fighting characters and everything. Granted, it wasn't all like perfect, but I still would have preferred to watch that over this. But hey, hopefully if this does have a potential to release a second season, a sequel to it, hopefully it could be a little bit better with all the flaws that I just mentioned, because otherwise I just think it just wasn't a good time for me to watch. But let me know if you guys have watched Darwin's Game. If not, that's okay with me. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Santiago239, and I hope you all have a wonderful morning, night, day, evening, whatever the occasion is. Take care, stay safe, and all that good jazz. But anyways, guys, later.